Thank you, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to help you unbox your thinking to create innovation breakthroughs. Now, in my innovation workshop at the University of San Francisco, I teach 4 basic rules to help propel innovation at your company. Now, the first one is an obvious one, borrow from the Silicon Valley model, right? Incubators, hackathons. The second one is think different. The third rule is look at your customer and look at emerging trends and how they're changing that customer. We're going to do that today. And fourth, last but not least, let's analyze some successful innovation case studies, which again we will do today. Now, bottom line, you can set all these boring rules aside. It's all about inventiveness. I want you to be as inventive as this rat a few days ago. As you well know, Pizza Rat created quite a commotion on the internet because the rat was very inventive. Like the rat, innovation is really an age-old concept. It was actually first used in the 15th century, believe it or not. And it comes from the Latin noun innovatus, which means renewal or change. And boy, we are in a massive era of change, aren't we? We are in a huge era of change. Have a hostage crisis? There's an app for that. Did you see this story? A woman was held hostage in Florida, and she was able to use her Pizza Hut to call for help. Wow, that's inventiveness. And that's all being made possible by a huge, potent force of change, the smartphone. The smartphone is a huge force. As the Wall Street Journal says, the tech cluster has never been a more potent force. Agents of social, political, and economic metamorphosis. Can I show you the face of metamorphosis? Can I show you one photograph that sums it all up? Yes. iPhone love. It's worth crying over. We are so in love with our gadgetry. As the Pew Research Center confirmed just a few weeks ago, 3/4 of us just fidget with our phone, even when there's nothing to do with it. Right? You do it. I know you do. Absolutely. And if you have absolutely nothing to do with it, what do? You take a selfie with the Pope. The Pope is in America. God bless America. But the iPhone delivery on the East Coast is screwed. That's making the headlines. But the most famous selfie of all, the one that you remember best, I'm sure, is the one that Ellen DeGeneres had Bradley Cooper take at the Academy Awards. And when Ellen posted that as a tweet on Twitter, she got 3.4 million retweets, which still stands as the record today. But in her tweet was a wish. I wish Bradley's arm was longer. 6 months later, we had half a dozen selfie stick competitors. Can you believe it? By Valentine's Day, even the president was caught clowning around with a selfie stick. A few days later, Condé Nast Traveler said the selfie stick is the hottest hotel amenity of the moment. By spring, selfie sticks were banned everywhere. This all happened in about 1 year. And then this week we find out that selfies kill more people than sharks. Don't take too many selfies. Watch out. Lesson number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Opportunities to innovate can come from anywhere at any time. Another particularly interesting case was the Sony hacking case. You remember that from earlier this year. Sony ended up distributing a movie in a completely untested digital channel, but made $31 million in the process. Of course, this is the same company that put all its passwords in a password directory called Passwords and labeled all the files passwords. LOL. Sony should take Steve Carell's advice from this meme. I changed all my passwords to incorrect, so whenever I forget, it'll remind me my password is incorrect. Now that's a great password strategy. Lesson number 2, disruption equals opportunity. And there is no greater platform for disruption today than the Uber trend. Now you're asking me, what the hell is an Uber trend, Michael? The Uber trend is a massive wave that cascades through society, leaving many sub-trends in its wake. And what sets the Uber trend apart from regular trends is that Uber trends change American values. Regular trends merely skim the social surface. And you've already been witness to one of the biggest Uber trends happening today in America, the digital lifestyle, the marriage between man and machine. The computer is becoming us, and we're becoming the computer. Don't believe me? When you get tired, you crash. And you love to multitask. And because you love to multitask, you're forgetting more, so you need memory protection. Those are 3 core traits of the CPU, or the central processing unit of the computer. And the biggest value change taking place in America today is our love for technology. In fact, an artificial intelligence researcher in the Netherlands believes that by 2050, we'll be marrying robots, and Massachusetts will be the first state to allow it. Do you think we'll find robot love, anybody? Do you? Do you? No? You don't think so? Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't knock it until you try it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. All right? I mean, have you seen this animated GIF doing the rounds? Please note that Boston Dynamics is a subsidiary of Google. Wow. When I showed this in London in February, a CNN reporter told me that they had gotten hundreds and hundreds of complaints about animal cruelty after they ran this story. Animal cruelty? Robot love. Think about it for a moment. And how about this one? I love this Tesla Refueling Bot. Take a look at this thing. Wow. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You dirty rats. You dirty rats. But you don't have to go far. You can just go to Cupertino, California to see this emerging robot culture of ours, where you will be met by Butler, the robot bellhop. Right? And I don't know if you saw this story on CBS earlier this year. I thought this was interesting.
Just meet the front desk staff.
Please ask me a request, but don't ask me a difficult question because I am a robot.
Don't ask me any difficult questions. The robots are already starting to resemble their human counterparts. They're ready for customer service. But our love for technology knows no bounds. And that is indicated by this survey that suggests that 55% of auto buyers are inclined to buy a partially autonomous vehicle or a self-driving car. And you know what? If they had been told that they could text while the bot was driving, 95% would have said, count me in, right? That's the idea behind this Mercedes-Benz announcement of the self-driving truck. Notice that the truck driver is using his tablet. Wow, that's crazy, right? Now, you're probably telling me, Michael, what relevance does this have to my business? There's a research firm in London who says that by 2030, robots will begin to replace lawyers. Let's all give a hand for this prediction. Yes. And my apologies to all lawyers present. Did you see this survey on CNBC last fall? Nearly half of Americans have cut back on spending on food, on health care, on travel in order to afford more tech gadgetry. Now that's a value change, and a big one. And they're going to have to save up their dollars because there's a heck of a lot more of that tech coming down the pike. I'm sure you all want one of these connected crock pots. Wouldn't it be fun to fire up an app in the office and say, I just started cooking? I know you want one. That's very cool. Now you're probably saying, Michael, I can't manage all this tech at home. Just call on the 6-year-old IT department you have running around the house. Because you know as well as I do, they know everything about it. And they'll get everything fixed in no time. They're part of the digital native generation. These kids that are growing up and that take everything for granted. Par for the course, they say. And why not? They're growing up with coddling things like this Fisher-Price activity seat for iPad. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Isn't this crazy? But my favorite is the digital iPotty. Because baby needs to multitask while she poops. The thought starter for the digital lifestyle is that it's rewriting the rules of innovation. As technology becomes more interwoven with the fabric of life, you need to think about the 3 values that consumers now treasure so much: connectivity, convergence, and convenience.